This clip is sponsored by Wash and Go, and that can only mean one thing. That's right, I'm surrounded by a sea of green. By now you should know that Wash and Go is the best way to look after your luscious locks. I mean, look at what it's done for mine. Fantastic. But you don't have to take my word for it. Just look at some of the 600 plus unreal reviews on their Amazon page. Linda from the United Kingdom says, well, it smells lush and leaves hair smelling fresh. Fantastic, Linda. Kindle customer JSB says, product arrived as advertised. Always very important. Always important to know that, Kindle customer JSB. And finally, my personal favourite, it's shampoo and it works for me. Absolutely fantastic there from Casey. It is indeed shampoo and also a conditioner. If you want to get your Wash and Go today, then hit the link in the description and get your bottle sent to you today. And remember, it's a shampoo and it works for me. Certainly when you look at this board that keeps almost revamping themselves as a new entity, I thought Jan Fjortoft got it absolutely spot on today. There was a story that came out, something along the lines of Manchester United in their search for a new manager. They want a manager that wins trophies, plays attractive football, and promotes the youth. And this is maybe a leak. And Jan Fjortoft quote tweeted it and said, "What? Like that's unique? Like not every other club in the world wants that." And that's what I mean. It's like we have got a new CEO, but he's been at the club for years. And everybody else around him has been at the club for years. But what they keep doing quite cleverly, and we used to do it under Ed Woodward as well, they keep repackaging themselves with new spin words as if they're a new board with new owners. Well, we're exactly the same. And what I'm going to go through today, we've got Ralph Rangnick's press conference at lunchtime, obviously, which is going to be quite big. But this morning, I've been wanting to do this for a while and I waited for the transfer window to close. I want to talk about the money that Manchester United have wasted over the last 10 years. And more importantly, the money we've got back. So if you think about what our biggest signing was under Ed Woodward was his first signing, which was Fellaini for £30 million. Now, £30 million 10 years ago, you're probably talking, 60 million, maybe 70 million with inflation. We got 10 million back. What did Fellaini do? He was okay for a few years, and we got 10 million from 30 million. You know, and this is the problem with United. I'm going to go through 700 million pounds of spending, and we haven't made 350 back. And we've won next to nothing. And yet this board, and you know where I'm going with this, United's I think United are in big trouble in the future because I think the people who run in the club are incompetent. You know I'm angry, you know I'm fed up, you know I'm pissed off, and you know why. It's because Rangnick wanted a midfielder in January and they said no. And it's because Lingard and Rangnick wanted to part ways and the board said no. It's because this board is incompetent and I'm tired of it. I'm absolutely tired of it. And I think in the long term, we're going to be in big trouble. And I think as a fan base and as a media and as the world, you need to wake up to the fact that United are nothing more than a shell. They're a franchise and they're being run into the ground by people who are making massive amounts of money from us because that's what they want to do. That's what they were bought for. And I'm tired as well of these journalists. I'm not to call them out because I don't think journalism actually exists anymore. I think there's one or two that I think, yeah, they're quite good journalists. But, you know, journalism, I'm not naming names, but basically, they're not journalists. They've got cosy little relationships with Manchester United who give them information and they get a lot of clicks for it and get people read their articles. And everybody's in a cosy relationship. It's not proper journalism. I've never known United be in a position like this. And we are bereft of hard-hitting stories. You're basically relying on fan content to say what's actually going wrong with the club. Because all these journalists who write in all these bloody papers and stuff like that with their blue ticks, all they ever do is put stuff out about United would like Pochettino. They really admire Pochettino. They're not bought anybody now because they're planning for the summer. They'd really like to play good football with promoting the youth in the principles of Manchester United. It's just the same crap all the time. Why are they not being called out? Why are they not being called out and why can people not see that we are in a really perilous situation? And I'm not talking about the immediate future. I'm excited about United being back tomorrow. I think there's loads of games we can win in February and we can get fourth, although it's a battle. But you know what? In the battle for fourth place, that is not success. That is actually not success. That is a lowering of the standard. So we are in trouble because finishing fourth is trouble. It's not good enough. And yet this is the mindset that they try and spin. If we get fourth, it's a successful season. If we go deep, if we get to the quarterfinals of the Champions League, the semi-finals of the FA Cup and fourth, that's a good season. That would be a sackable season under a proper football club. So no, I don't think we're in a good position. And I think there's a very high likelihood it could get worse. Oh, absolutely perfect entertainment. says, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't remember reading for that. It's my birthday, says Jimmy. Great. And Mark, you talk, happy birthday, Jimmy, but there's a time. Mark, you talk about the board being the issue. Bobby Charlton, David Gill, Sir Alex are on the board. No, David, this is why we fail as a fan base, right? Idiots. This is why we fail, because people don't want to be united. They don't want to blame the board, which is Arnold, Woodward, people like that, the Glazers, Joel Glazer. They start talking nonsense about Sir Alex Ferguson, like he gets up in the morning at 7 o'clock, has a shave, put his suits on, goes and sits as the CEO of United and makes decisions. So Bobby Charlton is very old and has actually had health issues recently. They are not sat on the board making decisions about transfers, managers or anything like that. They don't. They are ambassadors on the board. They don't run the club on a day-to-day basis, and neither does David Gill. They're just ambassadorial board members. They don't run the club. The people who run the club were people like Woodward and Arnold, and that's who runs the club. They're who's at fault. That's the issue at Manchester United. The arrogance of those people to think they know better than millions of other people, and more importantly, they know better than a qualified manager. We brought Ralph Rangnick in, and oppressing, keeping Lingard confirms it's a France interview. That's what we did. That's why I'm frustrated. We brought a manager in, an interim manager, to rebuild this football club, and he's being not listened to by people like Darren Fletcher, John Murtagh, Richard Arnold and Ed Woodward. I mean, bloody hell. And let's just go through the record of some of these people. Now, to be fair to Fletcher, he's only been there a year. Whether he should be there or not, I don't know. But the reality is, happy birthday, Jimmy. The reality is, Arnold, Woodward, Murtagh have been at that club for years, and they've been massively involved in what I'm about to talk about. And what I want to talk about here is there's three things: the price we paid, the price we got or their value now, and how many trophies we've won. And you will see hundreds of millions of pounds wasted with very little in return. And these same people are saying no to Rangnick because they think they know best. They are basically terrible at their job and they're still in place. Good morning. What can change the crappy media coverage and commentary? It's so plain to see. Seb, the journalists need to look at themselves and the cosy relationships they had with Manchester United. Some of these journalists are top people. Yeah, they're almost in top red category. Oh, yeah, he's a top journalist. He's a top lad, he is. They never talk about tactics and they never talk about anything particularly negative. They constantly are being fed information and they are constantly spinning a positive, and they won't do anything about it because you know what? Their life's easy. Their bread's buttered. They can write. They've got a friendship. They're messaging. Even through the Super League and stuff like that, these people are there messaging the club, having little messages back. It's a disgusting time like that. I don't think they are journalists. I don't. I think they're mouthpieces, a lot of them, and I don't think that's what we need. I genuinely do think, and I'm not being sensationalist. I genuinely do think this is United's worst period since I've been supporting them, and I've been supporting them since the late 80s. I don't think I'm being melodramatic. The reason I think we're in the worst period is because I think a lot of it's hidden. I think you have to dig a little bit deep to realise how bad the situation is, because people go, oh, we could get fourth, we've got Ronaldo, we've not won a trophy for the longest period since between we won the FA Cup in 85 and then when Sir Alex won it in 1990. So this is the longest period United have been out without a trophy in most of your lifetime. That's not being discussed. We've got a very, very shallow squad with a lot of overinflated value in there. But let's go through that. Right, we're just going to go through this and I'll explain why I'm terrified about this board and what they're going to do to this club, and why they're almost like dictators who won't listen to anybody else but themselves, but they think they know what they're on about. I mean, when you are putting out statements like, we're looking for a manager that will win trophies, play good football and promote youth. I mean, bloody hell, I bet Man City woke up this morning and went, shit, why are we not thinking about that? I mean, it's just nonsense, absolute nonsense. And as I said last night, I don't agree with Pochettino being the manager. I really don't. I just think he's another puppet. Will they ever have any positive news around Manchester United to Zerfin? Look, I think in the short term, we'll be fine. And we'll get back supporting Manchester United like we always do in the matches tomorrow. And in the short term, you've got people like Cavani, Ronaldo. Goldbridge, that's the end of the clip. I'm sure you enjoyed it. In fact, I bet that's the best clip you've ever watched. So there's no reason not to subscribe to the channel, click the bell icon so you never miss a clip again. In fact, smash a like on the video, because we all know only legends like videos, and you are all legends. So please smash a like on the video, and we will see you again on the next one. Thank you very much for watching, as always.